Alrighty, so what's going on, Trusted Signals? This is the onboarding video or onboarding webinar. We're going to introduce this more frequently for new members. So if you are not a new member, you are more than welcome to participate on these videos and ask any question. So this will serve as a onboarding video and also an Ask Me Anything. And first off, congratulations to you guys for being here right now, taking the initiative, taking the step to becoming a better trader and starting with Trusted Signals. So this video, we're going to go over what these settings do, how to use these settings parameters, and how to properly use Trusted Signals. Because a lot of people have some doubts when first signing up and get really confused on the settings parameters, and mainly because they just don't know how to properly use Trusted Signals and the settings. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. I'm going to share my screen. Awesome. Okay, so this is Dow Jones. And as you can see here, one of the things that you notice right away looking at my chart is that I don't have a lot of saturated signals. My signals are very precise right here. I have very particular settings to this chart. And something that everyone should understand is each setting is unique to each chart and each pair. Don't assume that you find good settings on one pair, on one time frame, and it's going to work on all the charts and on all time frames, because sadly, that's just not the way it works. And the reason why is because each chart is very specific and individual to itself. They have their own characteristics. You should consider each chart very similar to its own beast or its own animal, and they react and act differently than each other, just like different animals do. So GJ won't move the same way that the Dow Jones would move. Great British Pound, Japanese Yen, again, won't have the same volume. It won't move the same as the Dow Jones. So that's why it's very important to open up your settings and adjust the settings accordingly to each chart. So let's just go into the parameters right here. And this is the settings parameters. V2 is going to be for smaller time frames. You want to be able to use V2 for the 5 minute, the 1 minute, the 15 minute. V1 would be more for the higher time frames. So these are the settings I use for US 30 on the 5 minute, and the ADX filter is 17. The DI length is 15, and scalp trading. When you use scalp trading and V2, the reactivity and the depth do not apply to the settings. It actually not disables, but it bypasses these two parameters here when you have scalp trading on. Now, if you use manual trading, now you have more flexibility to the reactivity and to the depth. So I'm going to move it here. You could see that it was loading, and now I'll have more control with the reactivity and the depth. And if I move the reactivity higher, you're going to notice that the signals are going to change. Now, a higher reactivity is going to have less signals. You see, now I have less signals. So using manual might be in benefit for you over other traders. For instance, notice that when I turned on the manual and changed the reactivity, all of a sudden I had some buy signals here. Boom, the little buy signals came in. This one is not so good, but this one came in beautiful. Let's just see what this is here. It's 1,000 pips. 1,000 pips on US 30 Dow Jones and little to nothing in drawdown. So it really depends on what style trader. I think I saw a comment where someone said, I don't like using the ADX filter because it takes away a lot of the good signals. Well, it really depends on what style trader you are and what type of entries you're looking to do. If you're looking to be a scalp trader, swing trader, or depending on what time you're wanting to trade. So all these things really dictate on the settings that you're going to be using. So let's say you do like these settings here. You hit OK. You can actually save this. And right here, you're just going to put, since I don't want to save over my layout that I have here, I'm just going to go make a copy. Excuse me, make a copy. So make a copy. I could name this. Let's just name it US 30 Dow Jones 5-minute zoom. Save. So now you have this here in your named recents whenever you want. So for instance, if I want to go back to, let's say, Euro USD. Euro USD on the 1 hour is going to have different settings. Again, because the parameters and the settings are different to each time frame and chart. So these look super solid here. What are the settings? These are the settings that I have for Euro USD. V2 manual 3.55 on the depth, ADX filter 10 and 21 here. So instead of having to change the chart, means change the settings and play it around each time you change the chart and go from different pairs to pairs, now I simply just click my Euro USD right here that I saved, takes me to the 1 hour. And now my settings change, everything changed, and I have my whole template ready to go. So it's a different way of going from chart to chart than, let's say, going to your watch list. Because if I go to my watch list and all of a sudden change the pair, I'm going to have the same settings that I had on Euro USD on gold. And I don't want the same settings because those settings are not unique to gold. But hey, look, these don't look too bad. These don't look too bad. So I would highly recommend going through each pair and finding unique settings to those pair that work around you. Again, because this indicator is meant to work around the trader and be built around how each individual trades. Full on flexibility. So this gives you full on flexibility to each trader because let's say Scott might trade differently than Gypsy. And Gypsy might only trade a certain pair that Scott doesn't. And he might use a total different confirmation. So we're just going over the buy and sell signal settings. So if you guys want, you can screenshot this for Euro USD. This is the Euro USD pair. And these are the settings that I like to use. So you can use it as a guideline, as a basis to start. And using this as a guideline, I expect or hope that you yourself can then play with the settings to find things that work more in your style of trading. But let's go back into the parameters. We also have the EMA cloud, which I like to turn off and on while trading. I don't like to have everything on because it becomes very messy. So I just try to keep it very clean setup. And a good strategy with the EMA cloud is if you see a sell signal that comes in, price drops below this blue cloud here. First off, before I dive into that, explaining what this blue cloud is, it's representing a bullish trend and a red cloud is representing a red bearish trend. So bullish and bearish. Whenever we have a sell signal, which pushes price below the blue cloud, and it starts to retest this red bearish cloud, you can use any one of these retests as entries. A sell signal, I preferably like to wait for a pullback after the signal. I don't see the signal and enter right away. I see the signal, go into these smaller time frames, or if I'm already at the smaller time frame, see how price is reacting on that zone. And I'm anticipating a short pullback after the signal to then enter, right? And here, your previous highs and lows can be used as stops and take profit areas. So right here, this is a good take profit area. Your previous low and your previous high could be where your stop loss is, 156 pips. And then if you look right here, it retests again there. So that could also be a short entry. I'm just going to keep it thin so we can see them. That could be a short entry. This could be a short entry. This could be a short entry here. So the point that I'm getting to is using the EMA clouds as a trend indicator and taking the trades on the retests of the cloud. And this is all in the main indicator. This is the main indicator, which also has support and resistance. Auto support and resistance is another one that I love to use. Show support and resistance. I want to see the chat because I can't see messages and I do want to answer questions. So, okay, no one has wrote anything. If you guys have questions, please do ask them away because I'll have them right here and I would love to answer any questions you might have. So the auto support and resistance is another great one of the features that I use a lot. And I use it as moments to take profit and for also partial profit areas and also stop losses and also entries. So support and resistance, which we are in the works of making a support and resistance updated strategy. So that way we can have that for the community. But we do have a support and resistance video on YouTube that is still really good, which is a great video. So if I'm going short after the signal on the retest of the EMA cloud, my stop right before this previous high or before this resistance line right here, this previous support is telling me, hey, we could take partials right here. And what I like to do is instead of putting it exactly on the support line, I'll put it just before. I found that it's more likely to hit take profit because sometimes it'll just come right here and then just reverse and not hit TP. So that's what I like to do with the support and resistance lines. And they come in real time. Look at this short on Euro USD. And if you start seeing these auto support lines, you can take partials, close partial of your position. Don't hold your trade and just assume that it's going to continue going forever and ever and lose out on profits. And then it comes back to your initial entry and there you lost all your profit. So the whole move, 354 pips on Euro USD, the mistake that a lot of people have with these signals is just this. Watch what happens when I just drop the indicator. I'm going to mute this one and it's on default. This is what happens, guys. Look at this. So a lot of new traders and new members just throw on the chart and boom, they expect it to just right away give you the solid entries. It takes a little bit of working with the tools. It takes a little bit of understanding what the tools are for you to really get those sniper entries and sniper signals because this is not favorable. This is not favorable. It's not profitable. It's not meant for you to just drag and drop, even though the default settings on some pairs and timeframes will work out. But you have to find those. You have to find those timeframes and you have to find those pairs to see which ones it works out on. So let's just try to find a pair and a timeframe that works on default. There will be. Okay, see, look, this is looking better. 357 pips on GA, 210 pips, or up to here, 50 pips. From this signal down, 80 pips. From here up. So this is the default. And you could see that they are giving some fairly nice entries. And these signals are based on the candle close. So if you didn't know, once the candle closes, then you'll have your fire. Then it'll tell you, boom, it's time to sell or it's time to buy. So from the candle close down on default, we have 42 pips. But this is on the 2 hour. So who trades on the 2 hour? Does anybody here trade on the 2 hour? I don't think so. But maybe there is someone out here that does. So that's what the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is on default, there are some time frames and pairs that will work really well, but it's not meant for you to just drag and drop, go through any chart and boom, it works right away. See, this looks a little better. Let's just choose something super random. Can someone make a suggestion on a pair of interest, some sort of chart they want to look at for me to go over how to find the settings on that chart? Does anybody here want to make a suggestion on a chart on the chat? BTC, I'm assuming BTC, or is that okay? Awesome. Let's go. Let's do BTC. Okay, so here we have BTC and these are the default settings. The first thing you want to do is go to your time frame of choice. Let's just say the 15-minute. So right away I could tell the default 15-minute is no bueno. No bueno. Not good. Not good at all. So let's go into the settings. First, let's try if V1 is going to be something that works out. So if I want less signals, the first thing I'm going to do is ramp up the reactivity. This little eye is telling me it's thinking, it's calculating, the algo is working, boom. So now we have less signals ramped up, okay? Now the depth is going to bring it sooner and add more, or bring the signals later. So if I want them to be sooner, I'll bring the depth down. Now we should see everything just hop back a little bit. Boom. Now it came in a little sooner. If you notice, it just came a little sooner. So now we're going to play with the ADX. The ADX filter is filtering out signals, and depending on how much you want to be filtered out is the parameters right here. So by turning this on, now we're filtering, which by the way, it starts at 21. So this is the default ADX filter, 21, 21. Let's see what happens here. Boom! Look at that. Now we're starting to have a clearer chart on the 15-minute on BTC. This last buy right here, look at that. 633 pips. 663 pips, I mean. 600 pips. Look at this. 812 pips. Some would say 8,000, but I say 812 on the 15-minute on BTC. So now it's knowing which signals are you wanting to take and which ones you're not wanting to take. Another thing that I would highly suggest for everyone to do is look at the higher time frame. But before I go into looking at the higher time frame, let's go back into the settings and just start comparing them and just start messing around. Let's just have fun and mess around here and see what happens. So I'm going to bring the ADX smoothing down, which is actually doing less of the ADX. So if I put the smoothing down, you're going to see more signals start popping up and populating. There, you see this one popped up here, which is a very nice one. I don't know if you guys caught that. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but I'm going to do that again. So it was at 21, right? Boom. You see? And right here is how you could tell if it's thinking or if it's actually doing something. Now, the DI length is going to tell you on how much of these signals are going to be muted or unmuted. So it's a different calculation than the ADX, but it also works very well, as you could see. So now I have this short, remove this one, and this buy on the 15-minute. And some settings will work on other pairs, and it just happens by chance. So if you find something that works well on one pair, you can try and see other settings that work well. And then from there, save those settings. So a lot is basically going through the time frames, going through the settings, and just finding which ones work well. We're going to have all these settings uploaded into a very organized fashion on the Discord chat. So we're going to put all these settings on the Discord chat, and we're going to have it on a list. So that way it's going to be much easier for everyone to find settings and then adjust them accordingly to their liking. Is there any questions upon settings, about the settings and what the parameters do? Any other questions on settings? Do you guys want to ask a question on any of these parameters? And by the way, guys, if you haven't seen the auto Fibonacci, I would highly recommend the auto Fibonacci video that Chris P posted on his channel. He's one of the Trusted Signals ambassadors. I would highly watch that. I would highly suggest watching that video. Really good video and information. The auto Fibonacci is another one out of the Trusted Signals tools in the main indicator, and it also works in real time. And the way that the auto Fibonacci works is by drawing out your fib zones, your fib lines, and the red lines represent sell zones and the blue lines represent buy zones. So if you have, let's say, in the very top of the Fibonacci level, a red fib line as a sell zone, a sell signal together with a resistance line, that is a beautiful indication to go short. Having your stop right before here, and again, using the auto support and resistance as your take profit, US 30, 355 pips. just like that. And vice versa. So these are the buy levels. You go long on the buy levels. It's at a buy zone of the Fibonacci. There is a support line to base your stop right before that. And then again, using the previous auto support lines as take profit areas, not putting it exactly on it, but right before. So just about there. And it would have smashed for 177 pips. Let's go. Let's go. So this is going to help out a lot if you're a Fibonacci trader. So there's so many different strategies that you can use, and it's really based on how you like to trade. So if you're a Fib trader, or this is something that might work better for you and maybe not the EMA cloud, then you can use the Fib instead of the EMA cloud. Or maybe you like it together. My advice is try to have tools in this package together to give you your confirmation. Don't just base it on one. Just don't base it on the one sell signal, the one buy signal. Try to have things together that will work as 1, 2, 3 confirmations all together that align. When you have multiple confirmations, you're going to have a higher probability of success because this is a probability game. So this is something that I like to use here. All right, guys. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 participants. We've been on for quite some time. Is there any other questions you might want to ask? And if there isn't, I am going to call this a done webinar. Any questions? Any questions? All right, guys. So I didn't have any questions or see any questions from you guys. So I'm going to end this. I want to say thank you once again for everyone who participated, and congratulations to you for taking the initiative of being on this Zoom call. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask on the Discord channel. We have the support channel and the VIP chat if you are a VIP. Also, the breakout indicator is coming out July 31st for all lifetime members. Really excited for that. We will have more Zoom meetings following up from now on. So thank you, and let's go. Let's kill this market. Monday is right around the corner, and we will have more profits in the post your profits section. Once again, Trusted Signals, let's go.